Most people think cloves are just a pie spice, but soaking one in water before bed triggers a 10-minute reaction that antibacterial mouthwashes try to copy. And the same process then runs through your gut, your kidneys, and your blood sugar while you sleep. And the science behind it will surprise you. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through exactly what happens in your mouth, your stomach, and your bloodstream starting 10 minutes after that first sip. You'll also learn the safest way to prepare it, the combinations that make it even stronger, and the people who should skip it altogether. So let's start where it all begins, in your mouth. Your mouth contains bacteria that never sleep. While you're lying in bed, those microbes keep breaking down food particles and producing acids that turn into plaque, tartar, and that sour film you taste when you first wake up. And that film is the real engine behind morning breath, gum irritation, and the fuzzy feeling, which is why brushing the next morning already feels too late. But here's what changes the equation. A single clove soaked in warm water releases eugenol, a natural compound that dental researchers have studied for decades because of its antibacterial properties against common oral pathogens. Within 10 minutes, that eugenol begins to interfere with the growth of bacteria that cause bad breath, plaque buildup, and gum disease. One study even found that herbal mouthwash with clove, tea tree oil, and basil reduced harmful dental bacteria after regular use. You're not holding commercial mouthwash, but the same compound is now releasing into your water. And there's another benefit that starts just as fast. When your mouth senses that strong aromatic compound, it sends a signal down to your stomach to begin releasing digestive enzymes. Your body starts prepping for repair mode before you even turn off the light. That early release means less undigested food overnight, less fermentation, and a smoother morning. Now, 10 minutes isn't a random number. Eugenol is volatile and water-soluble enough to begin releasing from a cracked whole clove almost immediately. Warm water speeds that release, so the compound is already coating your tongue, your gums, and the back of your throat within the first few sips. That fast action is why traditional healers have used clove water before bed for centuries, and it's also why modern dental products still include eugenol in their formulas. But to understand why one tiny clove can do all of this, you have to look inside the bud itself. Cloves are packed with eugenol, a phenolic compound that makes up most of their essential oil. Eugenol is also found in smaller amounts in cinnamon and basil, but cloves contain the highest concentration of any common spice. And that concentration gives cloves their intense aroma and their real therapeutic potential. Eugenol works as an antioxidant. That means it hunts down unstable molecules called free radicals, the ones that bounce around your cells and cause oxidative stress, the same chemical imbalance that accelerates aging, joint stiffness, and the chronic inflammation that makes mornings harder. So when you drink clove water before bed, you're essentially giving your body a small dose of free radical protection right when it enters repair mode. Your cells do most of their maintenance work overnight, so lowering that oxidative burden before sleep gives them a head start. And the anti-inflammatory side of eugenol is just as important. Lab studies show that eugenol can disrupt the chemical signals that keep inflammation running in overdrive. And that matters for anyone who wakes up with puffy joints, sore muscles, or general stiffness that seems to come from nowhere, because chronic low-grade inflammation is often the hidden culprit, and it tends to spike when your body is under stress, eating processed foods, or simply getting older. And eugenol isn't the only compound working in your favor. Cloves also contain gallic acid, flavonoids, and other polyphenols that add extra antioxidant power. These chemicals work together in ways that isolated supplements rarely match. Researchers call this synergy, and it's one reason whole food remedies often outperform single ingredient pills. Cloves also rank among the highest antioxidant spices on the ORAC scale, which measures how well a food neutralizes free radicals. And that ranking isn't just a trivia fact. It means that even a single clove in water delivers a measurable antioxidant load compared to many other kitchen spices. When you pair that with the natural drop in body temperature and the metabolic slowdown during sleep, the compounds have more time to circulate and settle into your tissues before your morning alarm goes off. And eugenol doesn't stop at your cells. It also reaches the organs that work hardest while you sleep. Starting with your kidneys filter waste every minute of the day, but nighttime is when the balance between filtration and repair matters most. As you sleep, blood pressure dips slightly and your kidneys shift into a lower gear. And that slower pace is actually a window for tissue recovery, as long as oxidative stress doesn't overwhelm the nephrons, the tiny filtering units inside each kidney. This is where things get interesting. Animal studies have shown that eugenol and clove extracts can protect kidney tissue against injury in controlled lab models. One study focused on chronic kidney damage in rats and found that eugenol helped shield the nephrons by targeting specific oxidative stress pathways that normally accelerate cell death. Another study using a clove water extract showed protection against acute kidney injury in rats. Now, these are animal studies, not human clinical trials, but they point to a real biological mechanism. Eugenol appears to calm the activity of enzymes that produce reactive oxygen species in kidney tissue. By reducing that oxidative fire, the nephrons experience less damage and can maintain their filtering capacity more effectively. So for seniors or anyone worried about prediabetes, that extra nighttime protection is worth considering. Your body already repairs itself while you sleep, and a low dose of clove antioxidants may give your kidneys a quieter environment to do that work. And if you're over 50, or if you've been told your kidney function is borderline, you know how hard it is to find gentle interventions that don't involve more pills. Clove water fits that need because it uses a whole food at a culinary dose. You're not taking an extract capsule or an essential oil. You're simply letting one dried flower bud steep in water, the same way healers in Asia and the Middle East have done for centuries. And while your kidneys recover, your gut is still processing dinner. This is where the ritual quietly does some of its most noticeable work, because digestion doesn't stop when the lights go out. Your gut still has hours of work ahead, breaking down dinner and moving waste along. And when that slows down, you end up with bloating, gas, and that heavy morning feeling that makes you feel sluggish. A clove in your water before bed can help keep that whole pipeline moving. Cloves have what herbalists call a carminative effect. That simply means they help prevent gas from forming in your stomach and intestines. And less gas means less pressure, less abdominal distension, and fewer of those embarrassing gurgles that keep you awake. Eugenol also acts against common problem bacteria like Helicobacter pylori, the organism linked to stomach ulcers and other microbes that can throw your gut balance off and lead to long-term discomfort. By keeping those populations in check, clove water creates a calmer environment for the beneficial bacteria that actually help you digest food. And there's another digestive angle that's easy to miss. Cloves appear to stimulate the release of your own digestive enzymes and bile, the fluid your liver makes to break down fats, which means your body processes dinner faster and more completely. More efficient breakdown means less leftover protein and carbohydrate sitting in your gut overnight, which means less fermentation and fewer uncomfortable mornings. Some people even notice more regular bowel movements after a week of nightly clove water, though individual results vary. Preliminary research also suggests that cloves may encourage the stomach to produce more protective mucus, and that mucus layer acts like a shield between your stomach lining and harsh acids. A stronger barrier means less irritation from spicy foods, stress hormones, or medications you may have taken earlier in the day. It's one more reason a simple clove ritual before bed can set your gut up for a smoother morning and fewer of those nagging aches that slow you down. Now, if you plan to try this, timing matters. Drink your clove water warm about 30 to 60 minutes after dinner, not right before you brush your teeth, because that gap lets the compounds settle in while your stomach is still active. Warm liquid relaxes the gut muscles, and the gap after eating gives the eugenol time to work alongside your natural digestive flow. And if you have acid reflux or a sensitive stomach, start with half a clove and see how you feel. More isn't always better, and a strong infusion on an empty stomach can irritate some people, but digestion is only half the story, because the same clove compounds also influence how your body handles sugar overnight. And that part is where the data gets really interesting. Blood sugar spikes don't always happen right after dessert. They can also rise while you sleep, especially after a heavy starch or sugar meal. And those overnight surges silently damage blood vessels, nerves, and kidney tissue without any warning signs. For older adults, the risk is even higher because insulin sensitivity naturally drops with age. This is where the data shows real promise. A 2019 pilot study published in BMC Complementary and Alternative Medicine tested a polyphenol-rich clove extract on healthy and pre-diabetic volunteers. Each person took 250 milligrams daily after lunch for 30 days, and by the end of the study, after-meal blood sugar had dropped by an average of 21.5% in the healthy group and 27.2% in the pre-diabetic group. The researchers also saw lower fasting glucose in the pre-diabetics on days 24 and 30, meaning the effect actually deepened over time. Now, the extract worked through 3 different pathways. It helped muscle cells absorb more glucose from the bloodstream, it blocked the liver from releasing stored glucose, and it inhibited 2 starch-digesting enzymes that break down carbohydrates in your gut. That triple action is why the results were so strong, and it's why no single diabetes medication currently targets all 3 mechanisms at once. Consider this: roughly half of older Americans have prediabetes, and up to 30% of them will develop type 2 diabetes within 3 to 5 years without changes to diet or lifestyle. A nightly cup of clove water isn't a magic shield, but it's one of the easiest food-based habits you can add to your evening. It costs almost nothing. It takes 30 seconds to prepare, and it works while you're already asleep. And one clove works well on its own, but 3 simple kitchen combinations can stack the benefits even higher. Once you're comfortable with plain clove water, you can rotate in simple partners that add extra benefits without complicating the recipe. The first combination pairs clove with Ceylon cinnamon. Cinnamon has polyphenols that support blood sugar, and the 2 spices create a warm, sweet flavor before bed. Just use 1 clove and a quarter stick of Ceylon cinnamon in the same cup of warm water, then let it steep overnight. The second option adds a thin slice of lemon to the clove. Lemon adds vitamin C, which supports your immune system and helps your liver process the overnight detox load, giving your body a little extra boost while you sleep. The acidity also brightens the flavor, which some people prefer over plain clove water. Just drop 1 clove and 1 small lemon slice into your cup, cover it, and strain it in the morning. The third pairing mixes clove with fresh ginger, and ginger is famous for calming nausea and warming digestion. Together with clove, it creates a warm after-dinner tonic that soothes bloating, calms nausea, and speeds up stomach emptying, so you don't feel heavy when you lie down. Just slice a thin coin of fresh ginger and add it to your clove water about 30 minutes after a heavy meal. Now, one quick safety note: cinnamon and ginger both have mild blood thinning and blood sugar effects of their own. So if you're on warfarin, aspirin, metformin, or insulin, you need to be extra careful with these combinations, because stacking multiple blood thinning or glucose lowering foods can amplify the effect. Start with plain clove water first, get your doctor's approval, and only then experiment with adding partners. And before you run to the pantry, there's a safety side you really need to see first, because natural remedies are only helpful when they're used safely, and cloves are more potent than most people realize. The first rule is to avoid clove essential oil for drinking. That concentrated oil can cause liver damage, seizures, and loss of consciousness in doses as small as 10 to 30 milliliters. Even a few drops in a glass of water is dangerous, so keep all clove oils away from children. Never replace your water infusion with drops of essential oil. For a safe kitchen preparation, use 1 whole clove in 1 cup of warm water. Whole cloves release eugenol more slowly than ground powder, which can make the drink unexpectedly strong if you use too much. Let it steep for 8 to 12 hours if you're soaking it overnight, or simmer it gently for 5 to 30 minutes. Start with 2 or 3 cups per week and watch how your stomach responds. Now, skip clove water or ask your doctor first if you're pregnant, if you take blood thinners, if you use insulin, if you have a bleeding disorder, or if you're facing surgery within 2 weeks. You really must be careful here. Clove compounds can slow blood clotting and lower blood sugar, which is helpful in food amounts, but risky when combined with prescription drugs. People with acid reflux or GERD should also be cautious, because clove water can irritate an already sensitive esophagus. If aromatic drinks trigger your symptoms, start with a weaker infusion or avoid it entirely, and stop immediately if you notice heartburn, nausea, mouth irritation, or any allergic symptoms like itching or shortness of breath before the reaction gets worse. Because a simple ritual is only simple when it doesn't create new problems. So here's my challenge to you. Try 1 clove in warm water after dinner for 7 nights and track your morning breath, your bloating, and your energy levels to see if you notice a real difference. You can start tonight. because at the end of the day, one clove in warm water before bed is a small ritual that supports your mouth, your gut, your kidneys, and your blood sugar while you rest, and it takes less than a minute to prepare. We cover more research-backed natural remedies like this every single week, so subscribe if you'd like the next one. Watch the video on your screen now, and until the next video,